Welcome student on a lecture on topic cultivation. Today we will see about factors affecting cultivation. In that, what are the different factors which influence or which affect the cultivation process that we are going to study. First factor is altitude, temperature and humidity. Altitude is very important factor as per the cultivation is concerned. Each and every plant or medicinal plant which require different altitude for its proper growth and development. For example, in case of cinchona, tea and eucalyptus plant, the altitude which is required, that is 1000 to 2000 meter, whereas those with cinnamon and cardamom, it requires 500 to 1000 meter, and leaves like senna, they can be easily grow on sea level. So according to the nature of medicinal plant, each and every plant is required different altitude for its proper growth and development. If that plant is growing that particular altitude, then it will be having higher concentration of active constituent, and that will be giving more therapeutic effect. After that, next factor is temperature. Temperature is also one of the important factor which affect cultivation. Too much excess of temperature or frost condition will affect the plant negatively, and adversely it affect the growth of the plant. And there are specific optimal temperature conditions for each and every plant. For example, for tea it requires about 70 to 90 degree temperature, whereas in case of coffee it requires 55 to 70 degree temperature, and in case of cinchona it requires 65 to 70 degree temperature. So each and every plant is having different temperature conditions, optimal temperature conditions, and in that they will grow properly and proper uniform growth and development will takes place. Humidity is also one of the important factor for when we consider the cultivation. Too much humidity, it will cause destruction of plant, and if the humidity is also not there, in a very dry condition is there, so those plants which can grow, for example cactus and aloe vera, these require very less humidity, and they will easily grow in dry condition. So according to the nature of plant, these conditions are different, and in that optimal and uniform condition they will give proper growth and development. Rainfall or irrigation, each and every plant for proper growth and development requires a proper supply of irrigation. Water supply is needed, or there must be a sufficient rainfall should be there. Or some plants require distributed rainfall throughout the year. So each and every plant is having different conditions of irrigation or water supply. According to that, if these conditions are provided to the plants, then they will grow uniformly and healthy, and that is having higher concentration of active constituent and gives very well therapeutic effect. After that, soil and soil fertility. Soil is important source of nutrient to the plant for its growth and development. The capacity of the soil means the capacity of the soil is how much quantity of and proportion of nutrient should be provided for proper growth, as well as the medium which is provided for proper growth and development of the plant is known as soil fertility. Clay is the withered portion of the soil which is made up of very fine particles, and the clay what will do, what is the benefit of that clay is that it will hold the nutrient and to prevent the loss of nutrient during leaching. All the nutrients which are present in the soil, they are held by this clay portion of the soil, and due to which the loss of nutrient will not occur and sufficient nutrient should be provided to the plant. Good soil is having half portion of the air pores or the pores in the soil which are half filled with water and half filled with air is very good for proper development and growth of the plant, especially in case of root. Root require continuous oxygen supply. Proper oxygen supply is needed by the root, so that properly root will develop, and if the root is developed properly, then the life of the plant will increase, the plant will remain stable for longer period of time, and healthy plant will grow. For that reason, the soil should be such that the air pores, they are filled with the pores are filled with the air as well as water. After that, the pH of soil is also a very important factor. At pH, that is 6.5 to 7.5 is the pH at which the large number of active nutrients which are required for proper growth and development of plant, they are present, and that pH is very useful or healthy for the growth of the plant. Some fertilizers are also added to increase the fertility of the soil. Also the fertility of the soil can be increased by adding animal manure. After that, nitrogen fixing bacteria for leguminous plant, it is very necessary. So nitrogen fixing bacteria are also added in the soil. Apart from that, some chemical fertilizers are also used to increase the fertility of the soil. If the crop is taken without fortification, then it will result into deterioration or degradation of the soil fertility, and the next crop you are taking from that same soil, it will not give good yield. For that reasons, the soil fertility should be maintained by using these fertilizers, manures, animal manures, and nitrogen fixing bacteria are also used to maintain the soil fertility. Fertilizers are the suppose for proper growth of the plant, it requires sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and air. All these are the necessary requirement for the growth of the plant or for the photosynthesis of the plant. Apart from that, also it requires 16 more nutrients for proper growth and development of the plant. If these nutrients are provided sufficiently, then it will show proper growth, and that nutrients include secondary nutrients as well as some trace elements. Secondary nutrients that include phosphate, potassium, calcium, nitrogen, sulfur. All these are the secondary nutrients which are required for proper growth of the plant, and trace elements which are required in very less quantity but they are essential for the growth. That includes copper, cobalt, zinc, molybdenum, after that iron. All these are the trace elements which are required in small quantity but they are very essential for proper growth of the plant. So these includes all these elements. They have specific role in different areas of growth and development of the plant, but each and every element is very important, and that elements are synthetically provided by using fertilizers, and also these are naturally provided by using animal manures and all these. After that, pest and pest control. As the population will go growing or increasing, the production of food is also increasing nowadays, but the important factor which will affect the yield of the product is that the time gap between the harvesting of that product and actually consumed by the consumer or and actually consumed by the individual, that in that time gap the most of the product or medicinal plants or fruit drugs, they will get deteriorated due to pest insects. They will deteriorate that product, and large quantity of product will get destructed or deteriorated, and due to which the supply will also decrease. For that reason, pest control is very important as per the cultivation is concerned. The pest control techniques are different techniques. First technique is manual technique is used, in that hand picking of the insect and burning and of insect will done, or sometimes to control or the insect which are flying. For that, the funnels are filled with attractants. They are placed, and which include rose oil or anise oil, that is mixed with the sand, sawdust, and due to that attractant, the paste will get attract to that funnel which contain anise or rose oil, and once it will get attracted to that funnel, it will stick to that, but it will not able to come out. It will go inside, but the insect will not come outside. In this way, the insects which are destroying the crop, they are collected. After that, another method for pest control is there, which include agriculture method, in that breeding is done and genetic manipulations are done in the species during breeding, and more pest resistant species are prepared, and in this way pest control is done. Another method which includes, that is biological control. In biological control means one organism will kill the another organism. So to kill the insect or to kill the pest, another organism is introduced, and that will kill that pest. For example, large insects which are destroying the medicinal plants or fruit drug. Such insects, when hatch the egg of flies or wasps, they will get killed. So such type of techniques are used in case of biological control. After that, chemical pesticides, rodenticides, and insecticides, fungicides, they are used, that include quaternary ammonium compounds, strychnine, parathion, malathion. All these are the which are included under chemical control method. So all these are the different pest control method. And after that, next one is plant hormones. Plant hormones, or they are also known as plant growth regulators. These are the substances other than nutrient which affect morphological structure and physiological process in plant in very less concentration. These plant hormones are of two types: natural and synthetic, or endogenous or exogenous plant growth regulators are there. Endogenous plant growth regulator, these are naturally found in plant, whereas exogenous, these are the synthetic substances, that is human made growth hormones are there, and naturally includes these are the endogenous hormones, and these includes auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, and ethylene. All these are the naturally found endogenous plant hormone in plant, and they have both they are having both regulate or influence on cell division, cell differentiation, root and shoot growth, that is organogenesis, and senescence, plant aging, and they are also regulate the dormancy. All these are the functions which are regulated by these plant hormones, which are present in plants naturally, as well as sometimes these are synthetically provided to the plant to for cell division or cell differentiation. In case of root culture also, tissue culture or root culture also, and in case of organogenesis or in all these process synthetically human mates are also provided, and naturally they are also present in plant. So there are two types of plant growth regulator. First one is endogenous and second one is exogenous. In that hormones, these are plant produced natural compound that inhibit or promote plant growth. So sometimes they will inhibit, they will give inhibitory action on plant growth, and sometimes they will promote the plant growth. So these are the hormones, and these plant growth regulator, they are auxin, gibberellin, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. These are the five major classes of hormones. They are found naturally in the plants. These are all endogenous hormones. In that, first one is auxin. Auxin is a indole acetic acid naturally occurring in plant. So it is a naturally occurring indole acetic acid which is found in plant, and it will promote the growth and also have role in cell division and cell elongation, causes cell division and cell elongation. Primary plant auxin is indole acetic acid, that is IAA, and synthetic form of auxin are indole butyric acid IBA and naphthalene acetic acid NAA. So naturally occurring is indole acetic acid, whereas synthetic is indole butyric and naphthalene acetic acid. These are the synthetically made auxins, and these have main role in cell division and cell elongation. Cell division and cell elongation during tissue culture technique. They are added, these are the synthetic form, they are added during tissue culture, and they are also having role in leaf growth and fruit setting in absence of pollination. If pollination is not there, and in absence of pollination also fruit should form to the plant. For that reason these auxins are have role in fruit setting. It inhibits the growth of root. Root growth is degradation of auxin will cause inhibition of root growth. Apart from that, it is useful in phototropism, geotropism, apical dominance and root formation. Phototropism, plant growth toward light source. Phototropism means it is plant will grow towards the light source. The light will come from which area or from which side, according to that plant will grow. So it is having role in phototropism. After that, geotropism, plant growth in response to gravitational force. According to the gravitational force which is present, that plant will grow in response to that gravitational force, that is geotropism. Apical dominance, terminal bud prevent the development of lateral bud or plant stem, that is known as apical dominance. Means the bud which is at top, that is terminal position, that will prevent the development of other lateral buds as well as plant stem. So in all these, that is phototropism, geotropism and apical dominance, it is having role of auxin. Root formation, the degradation will occur, and in presence of light the root formation will inhibit the root formation, whereas in case of dark the root formation will increase due to auxin. After that, next one is gibberellins. Gibberellins, there are about 50 gibberellins are known, out of which 40 gibberellins they are present in green plants, whereas 10 gibberellins are found in some fungi. And the commercial formulation of gibberellins, they are generally used for vegetative growth of the plant, fruit growth, as well as breaking of dormancy to break the dormancy period of the seeds. These gibberellins are used. Flower induction, initiation, and induction of parthenocarpy. It is having role in initiation of parthenocarpy, fruit formation without having that. Also known as gibberellic acid, growth promoting chemical. So it is having role in growth promotion, stimulates the stem growth through cell elongation and cell division. So it is having role in cell elongation and cell division. And commercial supplies which is obtained from the fungus is Gibberellia fujikori. After that, cytokinins. These cytokinins are both synthetic as well as natural, both are present. Zeatin is a naturally occurring cytokinin and which is having effect on cell division and aging of leaf. It will prevent the aging of leaf by delaying the degradation of proteins as well as by preventing the breakdown of chlorophyll in leaves. It will give that effect that aging has a role in aging effect. Synthetic cytokinins, they are useful in lateral bud formation or development, has role in cell division. After that, it was also helpful in development of embryo during seed development, and it is used as a growth promoter in tissue culture. In tissue culture, it will help to promote the growth of the cell and also promote cell division. Leaf aging is important role that is played by cytokinin. Shows the presence of senescence biological aging by preventing breakdown of chlorophyll in leaves. It will prevent the breakdown of chlorophyll in leaves as well as delay the degradation of proteins in leaves. It will helpful in the process of aging. Next one is abscisic acid. Abscisic acid, it is a natural plant growth inhibitor. It is only a natural plant growth inhibitor. It will act as an inhibitor and it is a naturally occurring plant growth inhibitor. Growth inhibitor that closes the stomata of the plant under water stress condition. So it is having a role in as an anti-transpirant and it will prevent the loss of water from stomata under water stress condition. When the plant is having insufficient water supply, and in that case the water should not be lost through stomata. For that reason it will closes the stomata, and due to closing of the stomata the water loss will prevented, and in this way it will act as a growth inhibitor under water stress condition. It counteracts the effect of auxin and gibberellin. The effects which are produced by auxin and gibberellins, they are counteracted by the abscisic acid, and it is generally found to be enhanced in stress condition. Whenever there is a stress condition, under stress condition the abscisic acid concentration inside the plant will increase. Like mineral deficiency is there, if there is injury to the plant will occur. In that case it has important role under stress condition. Its concentration will increase under stress condition. Cyclosil and B9 are the two synthetic abscisic acid type growth inhibitor are commonly used. These are the commercial preparations of abscisic acid which are available. As a natural plant growth inhibitor, it counteracts the effects of auxin and gibberellin. Whatever the effects which are produced by auxin and gibberellin, they are counteracted by abscisic acid. Ethylene, it is a organic molecule which is present in the form of volatile gas, and it is present in very less quantity, normally about 0.1 ppm. It is present in the form of volatile gas and it is present in very less quantity, that is only 0.1 ppm, and it is produced by incomplete burning of carbon rich substances. Those substances which are rich in carbon, by incomplete burning of these carbon rich substances, the ethylene gas is produced, and it has important role in fruit ripening process. It has important role in fruit ripening process, and a gas that forms in tissue undergoing stress. After that, it is also have a role in early petal drop of flowers, so shading of petal, and in that also it is having role. And apart from that, breaking of dormancy and stimulation of latex flow in rubber trees, this ethylene is used. For that, it will stimulate the latex flow in rubber trees, so that the collection of latex will done, and from that rubber is collected from the tree, and also it will have a role in breaking of dormancy for to initiate the germination of the seed. So this is about the different growth hormones and what are the different factors which affect the cultivation process. If you like my video, please press the like button and subscribe my channel. Thank you.